for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Hey guys, welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We've got a great show for you today. We'll be talking to the owners over in Omaha, Nebraska of the Safari Cigar Lounge. Then we'll be talking to CigarManOfficial, getting his cigar tip of the week. And I want to take a few minutes just to let you know what's going on with me. I just got my package in the mail from thehumidor.com. They send out, it's a cigar club, and they send out random cigars. They're really good premium cigars, a lot of hard to find stuff. In fact, right now while I'm recording the show, I'm smoking a Liga Privada T52, something I hadn't smoked before, but so far it's a great cigar. Anyway, then also what I received in the mail today was my membership card for Cigar Rights of America. And if you haven't signed up, I really recommend that you do if you're a cigar smoker. It provides the cigar community a voice to the politicians, and with everything that's going on with the FDA, it's more important now than ever. And you don't just get to be a member, though. You send them $25. It's for a year membership. They send you 2 premium cigars, and they give you a 6-month subscription to Cigar Aficionado. So, I mean, you're ahead money-wise just on the cigars and the magazine subscription. And now you're allowing this group to have our voice when it comes to the politicians and the FDA. So I highly recommend it. There's a link on the webpage under Friends. You go down there, click on the link, take you to their website, sign up for it. I think it would definitely be in everybody's best interest if we sign up for that. So also, if you haven't done so yet, I highly recommend that you contact your senators of your states and let them know that you want to support Article S9 that was introduced by Mark Rubio. It separates the premium cigars from all other tobacco sales. And so we don't want to be lumped into cigarettes and snuff and dip and all that. We are in a different market. We have a different product. It's used differently. So definitely take the time to let your senator know that we want to support Article S9. Anyway, let's get to the show. All right, welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. Today we have a couple of special guests with us in Omaha, Nebraska. We are at the Safari Cigar Lounge, and I'm with Jeff and Mary. Jeff, how did you guys get into the cigar business here in Omaha?
Well, it was mainly by luck. It kind of just fell in my lap. I had been smoking cigars for 30 years, and I retired, and I was looking for something to do, and we had kind of knocked around about starting a cigar shop. And then this thing, the one we took over, it fell into bankruptcy.
Okay.
And I just walked into it and didn't have any experience other than I knew something, smoked cigars, which doesn't make you an expert. But I had a partner, John, or my manager, John, he's a good friend of mine. He's extensive knowledge on cigars. And so I thought, well, let's give it a try. What could we lose?
Right. Well, if you've been smoking cigars for 30 years, I would consider you an expert.
I consider myself a smoker.
I understand. I'm the same way. A lot of people are always asking me, different questions, and I'm like, I'm a cigar smoker. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert by any means, so I completely understand that perspective.
Yeah, I like the people. I like cigars. I enjoy the camaraderie of cigar smokers. So that was kind of that would be my expertise.
Right. I'm the same way. It's all, and the whole reason that we do this show is because I love the people. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll give you a little history for the show. Is I was doing a blog review of cigar shops. So I would travel around and do reviews, but I was meeting all these great people. And I was like, well, we got a podcast because I want everybody to be able to hear and get the same experience that I'm having with the people, because it's not so much about the shop as it is about the people at the shop.
Absolutely.
So Mary's with us here also. Mary, how did you fall into this?
Well, I just kind of followed along, I guess, if you want to say. I wasn't necessarily a cigar smoker. Cigar smoking was new to me, but I was open to it and a little nervous about it, but it's been a great experience. We've met some amazing people. young, old, if they don't show up for a couple days, especially the older ones, you start to worry about them. That's my job. Make sure they're okay.
Well, that's something that I've noticed about a lot of shops I go to is you have all your regulars, and if somebody's not showing up, it's like, oh, we're going to start making phone calls, checking on these guys, because it really turns into more like being like family.
It really does. It truly does. It's amazing. And you're absolutely right. That's what I do. I get on the phone and I text. It's like, have you seen Frank? Have you seen, Ron? Where are they? Are they okay?
Right. So what did you do before the cigar business?
Well, I've been in sales for a long time, and I've sold handwriting curriculum, motor coach, audio, video, aftermarket parts. So I've kind of had a wide range of things, and now it's cigars and liquor.
I love the cigars and liquor, so you made it to the right business now.
Correct.
And so what cigars do you smoke?
I'm kind of random, but I'm also kind of picky. I'm a big fan of the Davidoff line. I'm more of a kind of a medium, easy draw.
Okay.
So I'm not so much into the full bodied, but I don't know. I smoke there's probably some that I like from each brand, honestly.
Yeah, I smoke all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm a smoker, like you were saying earlier, so I don't stick with one cigar, but I am a huge fan of LFD, and I'll tell everybody that's listening that if you're looking for the LFDs that I'm always talking about, these guys have them, so get them while they're still here.
Yeah, LFD's been a good line for us. That's really grown nicely for us.
Well, we have them down in Texas where I go most of the time. I go to this shop called The Leaf, and I'll even show you. You can see my wedding ring here.
Oh, man, look at that.
Oh, wow.
That's an LFD
That's very nice.
cigar
That's
band.
awesome.
Yeah, very nice.
I always tell everybody, this shows I love LFD, but it also shows I have a very cool wife.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm all over the place. Everybody knows I smoke a lot of LFDs, Roma Craft, Perdomo, and my father's are also always my favorites.
We have every one of those lines. Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So, but when I saw you had these, then I had to get 3. So, how long have y'all actually been in business here?
We've been in business. We'll be 6 years in April.
Okay, and before we got started, Jeff was telling me a little bit about the history. This place used to be a little more on the shady side.
Well, it had some issues. Let's just call it
All
that.
right. So let me paint the picture for you guys at home. When you walk into the shop, there's this huge open lounge with like 5 big tables and probably 4 or 5 chairs, leather, nice chairs around each table. And then they have a really nice walk-in humidor that's very large, and it's just completely stocked with great cigars. And then you have an opening that goes into a lounge area where you have a full bar.
Yes.
And these guys also have great cappuccino, by the way. And so if you get a chance to come by here, I highly recommend it. It's a really nice shop. So you've done a really good job on bringing it from the place that had some issues to a really nice shop now, Jeff.
Well, thank you. We enjoy it. This thing's been a lot of fun for us, and I think when you look at businesses sometime and you see that people enjoy it, it carries over to your customers and everybody. Because I know you've seen this where you walk into some cigar shops where everybody just stares at you. Nobody's very friendly.
Yeah.
And I think it relates to the owners too. And I'm not knocking anybody or banging anybody, but when you really love something, it's not, people say this, when you love what you're doing, it's not really work. And for us, this is not really work. I mean,
that's 100% right. And on the show, we're always talking about you can go to any cigar shop and it's always a community. Well, one of my best friends is a very new cigar smoker. And he was listening to the show, and he's thinking, every time he walks into a cigar shop, there's just going to be best friends lined up everywhere. Yeah. And so he went to 4 different shops and had 4 bad experiences. And I felt really bad for him because all the shops that I've been going to are, you walk in and it's arms open wide. Hey, buddy, how you doing? And so I actually went to one of the shops with him, and I was shocked. It's just like you say, it was kind of like you walk in, they look at you like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was really disappointed.
Well, actually Mary does a great job with that. We can kind of tell when new people come in, and we introduce ourselves, and we help them through the humidor. they need any questions, and then we introduce them to people and kind of set the tone for them. We've introduced a ton of people that weren't friends before, but are now friends.
Yeah, and I think
sometimes
that's
you got to
important.
break the ice a little bit for them.
Sure.
And
Well, it's like I was telling my buddy that he went to 4 different shops, and I said, the thing about it is, like for me, I didn't strike up new friendships the first time I went to my home cigar shop. But after 4 or 5 visits, just sitting around hearing conversations, you feel a little more comfortable interjecting in those conversations. Sure. And now those guys are like family. You know what I mean? So are you in charge of the customer service, more so to speak?
I don't know. I'm kind of in charge of a lot of different things. Maybe I'm just the glue.
Mary actually does a great job running the whole bar aspect of it.
Okay.
The girls and training, because it takes a lot of training. John and I handle the front end of this, and we sell the cigars.
Okay.
But the back end's really important because it's not as complicated, but complicated as the cigar side of it is, because we've got to train the girls all the time. We've got, how many bourbons and scotches do we have?
Oh my gosh, we have, I don't know, I bet we have over 60 scotches, 60 bourbons.
Really?
Yeah, and they all range from, they can range from $8 to, I don't know, probably the most expensive item in there is $240 a Louis.
Wow.
But the scotches can range. I mean, one pour, like a Belvini 30, is $60. So, I guess what we try to get across to the girls is that they're really the first impression and they're the last impression. And there's a lot of men and guys and women that come in and are looking for suggestions. They want to try, if they're a Scotch drinker, they're looking for something new. And I think with the bourbon, the same thing. So, I try to work with them and train them so they kind of have an understanding and help them.
Well, it sounds like the nice part of it is you have a range that covers every spectrum.
We really do.
That's great.
Yeah.
I know a lot of shops that I've been into have that narrow range. It sounds like y'all have the whole gamut covered, so it makes it nice for everyone.
It is, and I think it's also nice that, we work well with the liquor reps are really good about getting us unique items. So if there's some specialty bourbon or scotch that comes into the state, they have limited bottles. So we've built a relationship with them that they really work with us and try to get us the new stuff too.
Okay. So while I was out in Hastings, Nebraska, they were telling me that you guys have a distillery or two here in Omaha.
Yeah, we have at least one. I think
there's quite a few.
Is there?
Yeah, I think there's several in Papillion, La Vista. There was more than I thought.
Is Lucky Bucket part of that?
Nebraska Brewing.
Nebraska Brewing. I know they do that, and we carry. They have a veterans line that we carry.
The Soldier Valley,
and they have a bunch of other lines. We use some of them. They have a following in Omaha, but it's just like microbreweries. You might be hot in Omaha, but nobody knows you in Denver.
Right.
One of those things. And so, but when you look at the bourbons and the scotches and the rums that we handle, they're kind of like cigars. We've got 490 facing, probably 520 now with the Devinoff line. But everyone has its own characteristics.
Oh, absolutely.
And the Scotch and bourbons are the same way. And as you know, a lot of these guys are really, they're kind of hobbyists, and they want to know where the cigar comes from, what it's made, and they want to. It's the same thing on the bourbon and the Scotch side.
I see.
We do an event every month, and we've done one for almost 6 years now, where we bring in, we'll bring in one of our reps in, and we'll have it centered around one of their 2 or 3 of their cigars, and then we bring a liquor guy in too, and we have food.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've had a limit now to 50 people because we can get 80 or 90. But
now, how do you set that up? I mean, as far as is it just the first 50 people in the door? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we have them prepay it.
Okay.
Because the problem we ran into before is that people would say they come, then they didn't come, and then we'd have we try to get the food right. And we do it for we're doing because we can get some discounts on it. So what we've done is use it to build our business. So we charge like $25 or $30. So you get 3 cigars, 3 tastings, and some food. And the liquor rep will come and talk about the Scotch or bourbon or rum or tequila, whatever we're doing. And the cigar guy will come in and talk about his cigar, where they're made, what the filler is, the whole deal.
I love that. I love that.
And it's been a great tool. We've met a lot of people through it, but but we have to limit it because we get too many. We had one event where we didn't realize this other company also was taking reservations, and we had like 75 people here, and we just used this front room. And plus, I can't close the thing down because I got
You're still
regular
running
customers
business.
come in, so they're in back. This was packed. My system, it turns the room 8 times an hour, but when you have 75 people light up at once,
Right.
it was just a colossal mess. And we had one girl quit that day, and the food wasn't right, and we were short on food, and I'm going like,
It was chaotic.
and everybody had a nice time, but it isn't how we like to run things. We
Right,
we
right.
like to have it comfortable, that we're all not packed in and jammed on top of each other, and you can hear the guy talk. And
Well, I like the way you set that up and run that. I think that creates a better experience
Yeah.
for the cigar smoker versus just having a cigar rep here and saying we're having a rep night.
yeah,
I think having an event like that is a better educational platform, and I think that is so much more valuable because an educated cigar smoker is a happy cigar smoker.
well, yeah, it makes them feel more comfortable too, because you walk in that humidor. I see people all the time, and you got to feel them out. They're overwhelmed when they walk in there.
Sure.
Because I know we got like 500 facings, and
At least.
At least. And, we'll ask them when they need any help or suggest something, and then they might come back out and go, I'm looking for this cigar. Okay, here, we got it. We usually have it.
Right.
You get a lot of that stuff where they were in Miami and went to some shop. You have these? I said, no, that's his stuff, you know what I mean? And,
Right.
but
Well, that's great. Are you a part of the events?
I am.
And what do you do there?
I guess I kind of just coordinate all of it, make sure I do the emails to promote it. I do the posters to promote it. I organize the food, make sure I'm pretty much just make sure everything comes together.
She's the glue, right?
well,
She holds it all together.
I've been very successful in life in a lot of areas, but I've got too much credit. I've always been really good at getting people together. And like Mary's been, invaluable part of this business. My manager, John's been an invaluable part of this business. I have a piece. Everybody has little pieces.
Sure.
And we work together. I've always done things as a team. I come from a family business, and I have 3 brothers and a sister, and they're still involved in the beer business. But, we were great as a team, and that's what I think that's my biggest expertise, is getting the right people together, and you can kind of just oversee it.
Yeah. That's great. So you said that you have brothers and still in the family business?
Yeah, I have 3 brothers and a sister. We've been an Anheuser-Busch wholesaler 55 years.
Wow.
My father started it, and I took it over when I was 22. And we were a 2-truck operation, and with my brothers and I, we grew it. Now we when I took it over, we were selling 55,000 cases a year. We now sell 55,000 cases a day.
No way.
We expand and clean through Iowa. We go from the Minnesota border to the Missouri border, and we go from the Nebraska border to 60 miles on the other side of Des Moines.
So how long ago, about what year was that when you took over?
Let's see, 78, 79. I think it was 79 or 80.
Okay. Wow. So 80 to 2019.
Yeah, it has been a great ride. But and I retired, and I enjoyed the business and enjoyed working with my family. But after you've been, I started with my dad when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
Sweeping floors, washing trucks, fixing breakage. When you get 40 years at something, that's just about enough of that.
Right. You're ready to move on.
I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to find something different. You catch the last part of my life. And I was very fortunate and still very thankful. This thing just fell in my lap.
Right. So you're telling us about how the place before had some issues, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to get it to where it is now?
I want to say the first. It took 2 years to get beyond the stigma the place had, but we were here. It's just like everything else. I call it block and tackling. I've never hit a home run in my whole life. It's always just keep working at it, meeting people, doing events. I think the first event we had 5 people show up. Because they weren't sure what we were doing.
Right.
And we made some mistakes because, I understand business, but I didn't understand this business as well. And I understood the people, but we had some issues with the bar. We weren't hiring the right people. And, and we didn't have some of the right inventories, and I mean, it's a work in process. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'll tell everyone that I wasn't planning on doing a show here, and I came by here last week. So I was basically just here as one of your customers, and you guys knocked it out of the park as far as I posted pictures. I started telling people about your shop because I came in. It was a good experience in the humidor. Your sales guy wasn't all over me, but he also was there if I needed him. Yeah, and that's a real big thing. You don't want to be,
you don't want to be overbearing, but sometimes people. You just got to feel them when they come in,
right?
Because they want help, but then they might be a little shy, or they're a new smoker and they don't know what they want. And they think, I've been in shops too, where I felt embarrassed.
Sure.
Where the guy was just banging me with this stuff. I'm going, hey, hold it back up here. I mean,
there's a shop that I went to down in Texas. I won't say where it was, but I smoke way more cigars than what I probably even should daily. And I go into this shop, and I love going in new shops because it's like a candy store.
Yeah.
But this guy is like a foot off my shoulder.
He's staring at you the whole time.
I'm just like, get away from me.
Yeah.
And so you guys, when I came in, it was like he offered to help. I said, I'm good right now. Went and looked around, found what I love. But I love the fact that you have a tobacconist there that can help me if I want help. Because even though I smoke a lot of cigars, sometimes I still like to say, hey, what do you guys have here that I might not have back in Texas?
Yeah.
And, they can go over that with me. So you guys have really done well there. And then when I came in, I got the cappuccino. I came over here and sat where we're sitting now. And I just kind of watched everything that was going on. And, I mean, just every person that came in was greeted. And it was like family. There was a guy that came in that sat down right over there that pulled out his phone, and you went over and talked to him actually, and then some other people came in and you knew their name. So I was real impressed at how genuine and open that you were with those people. It was real impressive.
Well, thank you. I think that when you can tell when people like their business.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you can tell in a minute. I've seen it all my life. You know what I mean? And it makes a whole difference. We're not in here for the short term. We're long term people.
And I love that. If you're not thinking long term, I mean, it's not a quick buck.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
If you're thinking you're going to get into the cigar business and make a quick buck, you're not going to last.
No. When you look at great businesses all around the country, they're 50, 60, 100 years old. We have Union Pacific's 140 years old here. You don't start great businesses overnight.
Right.
It's a process. I watched my family and I build a small distributorship into a big distributorship, and it's a process. It's part of a journey.
Well, it looks like the journey that you've started here is going very well.
It's coming. Yeah.
So, do you have any other plans as far as expanding, or are you happy with this baby?
We were
here?
looking at actually expanding, but that's a process. And we have to, when you look at air filtration systems, we've got 2,000 square feet next to us here, and we're looking at seriously taking that over, but we're trying to get through the city, and the unit's $90,000. You know what I mean? So it's quite a commitment once you get into it. So we don't know yet if we're going to get that done. We need to expand. What I want to do is add another room, what we would call more value added.
Sure.
Like we'd have a pool table, a shuffleboard. We want to put a golf machine in. We want we want to do an indoor laser gun deal. So we have more things for people to do to come here when they're smoking.
Right.
So we're working diligently on it, but anytime you go, and nothing against the city of Omaha or any other city you go to, but there's a lot of rules and specs, and we started on this a couple times, and I started on it again, but I only do it I only work on it like an hour a week because I'm not taking away from my business to fool around with this.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the most important thing. You want to lose sight of the ball here.
Right. Do you work with the staff here?
I do.
Okay, because I noticed when I was here before, you were very hands-on, and I could just tell by the great service that I was receiving from everybody else that it seemed like you were in charge, but you weren't like overly in charge. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but
Well, I try to, I guess
you set the example.
I try to set the example.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I kind of, work with them. And again, we've talked about, I tell them that they are the first and the last impression, and I think that, if they present themselves professionally and they do, and they're friendly. But yeah, I think I kind of work with them and show them. I don't, I have expectations, but I don't expect them not to do something that I won't do.
Sure. Well, that definitely shows, because they were really friendly, but they handled each customer individually, not just as a whole.
Right.
That was really nice.
Because Mary works with them, trying to have, we're working on them all the time. Remember their name, remember their drinks, clean the ashtray. Like John and Mary and I understand it. We get it. But when you start working at wait staff, sometimes they don't. We can't have one bad experience.
Right.
Period. And we've had those little things once in a while where, and sometimes customers aren't in a good mood either.
Sure.
But that's our job, and we can't let that down. That's why what Mary does is so important, because we can handle the front end. This is easy stuff for us to do. But the back end's really the most important aspect, because one person can goof up this thing.
Sure.
And we've had this problem before where, we hire people and it didn't quite work out, or they're not having a good day. In this business, nobody cares you're not having a good day.
Right.
Correct.
That's not they don't want to hear about your troubles. They have their own problems. They want to come in and relax. No drama, no problems. Just get their drink, have a cigar. We see it all the time. And that's our job, to make sure we do that. And that's what Mary does.
Well, I think that's a great perspective to have, because I give this example on that same thing. Like, the problems that the NFL had for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And, regardless of what you think about what was going on, my perspective was, I work all week. Sunday, when I want to watch football,
Absolutely.
I don't want to know anything about your political views.
Yeah.
You know what? That's just because the football game is for me.
Yeah.
I've been working all week. Now I'm ready to watch a game.
Yeah.
And so that's the way you're handling your business. It doesn't matter about what is going on with your people. They need to be front and center and taking care of your customers.
I always looked at that, or sometimes when you look at actors, I pay you to entertain me.
Right.
Not
Not to give me your opinion.
Yeah, I don't care about your opinion. I pay you. I mean, and that's what we look at here. They pay us to come in here and have a relaxing, enjoyable time. That's what we do. That's our main focus.
That's the whole part of the cigar experience. Is when I go to the cigar shop, I want to relax.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Are you originally from Omaha?
I was born in Omaha, and I lived here till I was 10 years old, and my father bought a Budweiser distributorship in Hastings, Nebraska.
Oh.
And we lived there for 2 years, and then one came up for sale in Council Bluffs, and our whole family lived here. So we sold that one and moved to Council Bluffs.
Now, where's that at in relationship to Omaha?
Council Bluffs is a city right next to Omaha, divided by the Missouri River.
Oh, okay.
When you fly out of here, it's over it'd be on the east side of the river.
Well, this is my first time to Omaha, so it's funny because how many people live in Omaha?
Well, when you look, I think Omaha proper is like 800,000, but when you look at, there's Papillion and there's all these little subdivisions, I think there's about 1.4 million or something.
Oh,
like that.
see, I didn't know it was that big.
Yeah. It's spread out.
I mean, the only thing that a lot of people who not from Nebraska know about Omaha is that Warren Buffett lives here.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what we hear.
Yeah, that's what you hear. Yeah, he does. People see him all the time. I've seen him, but
really,
in Omaha, it's not that. It's a Midwest mentality. They see him, nobody bothers him.
Really?
He can walk around doing, and he'll sign autographs. He'll take pictures. He's a very friendly guy. You walk up and talk to him. He'll talk to you. I mean,
really?
Yeah. He brings celebrities in. Was it last year he was in town? Bono was in from U2,
really.
And there's a lot of these actors and musicians invested in Berkshire Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
They see these people all the time. Like Bono and Warren were in an ice cream shop eating ice cream in Dundee area.
Wow.
And people would come up, and he's very friendly. I mean, he'll talk to you, but people leave you alone around here. I don't think they see people. You see celebrities, but nobody gets too crazy about it. I don't know how to explain it. But
So does Buffett smoke cigars?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. No, I've never heard of.
He doesn't look like he smokes cigars.
I don't even think he drinks either. I don't. He's got a bulletproof reputation. and he's done a tremendous job of what he's done, and he's made a lot of people in Omaha wealthy.
Wow.
There's a lot of people that got involved with him, like when he first started, and these people held on to that money, for years, and they don't even spend it. They usually just donate it. I mean,
wow.
There's a lot of very wealthy people you wouldn't believe have that kind of money, but they pass away in their will. They give it to the zoo. They give it to the hospitals. I mean, the churches, and
right.
It's because they don't, in Omaha. It's a little bit different. They don't show money. It's kind of considered almost not garish, but it's not really acceptable. As much as you might see if you're in Dallas, where we go to a cigar shop in Dallas. There's 3 Rolls Royces and a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. You go to Phoenix,
Right.
In those areas you can have that stuff and nobody thinks much of it. But up here, not so much.
I got you. So I got to ask you, what do you drive?
I drive a Ford Raptor.
All right.
Yeah.
So not a Lamborghini.
No. I'm just a beer wholesaler / cigar guy. We're not that fancy around here.
That's great. When you expand, you plan on expanding right here in this shop?
Yeah, right through that wall. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how many square feet do you say on the
That'll be
side?
2,000 square feet.
And so what's the shop now?
We're 3,000 here.
Okay, so a 5,000 foot square shop.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
We have times where we really need the extra space. It just started growing. We just stayed at it, and it's come along really nicely for us. So there's some, but fortunately for us, you look at our average customer will come in and he might have 2 drinks and a couple of cigars, or 1 drink and a couple of cigars, and they leave. So we get kind of a nice turnover. So it's pretty much, we've got enough. We're getting to the point where we don't have enough seating. And we're open every day from 9 to.
And they have a lot of seating here. If
Yeah.
you guys, I know I'll do a video walkthrough,
Okay.
and I'll post that up so people can see the shop as well. But it's a really nice shop, and I mean, I'm gonna guess you can probably seat about 60.
Yeah, we can get. I think it's 72 that we can get in here.
Okay.
Comfortably.
Right.
And sometimes we have to go grab some chairs, and we'll change some things around for people. We move these chairs all the time. Like last Friday night, I must have moved like 50 chairs.
Oh, really?
Because have 1 or 2 people here, and I'll grab a couple chairs, and we'll grab a table, and we just put it together for them.
So you're pretty hands-on too.
Yeah, we're here. Mary and I are here 5 to 6 days a week.
Wow.
It depends when we get here, and Mary's here earlier than I am, but I'm usually here till 1, 12 o'clock or so.
And what time do y'all close?
It all depends. Like on weekends, we'll be open till 2. But, we play it by ear. We're always open till midnight.
Okay.
But if we get down to 1 or 2 people, we'll call it. But
Sure.
we're always open. I'll guarantee you we'll be open till 11.
Wow.
But if we get to midnight, you never know what. Sometimes you'd be sitting around here and all of a sudden like 10 people show up. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
you never know.
There's a saying in this kind of business, you have to honor your hours.
Right.
So we always, even if we don't have business, we'll pretty much be here till midnight.
Very nice. All right. So before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to tell everybody about your shop?
I think, the line I heard once, and I think I stole it most likely, you're only a stranger here once. I think that would probably sum us up the best.
I like that.
Yeah.
And just from my own experience, when you guys didn't even know I was coming, I had a very nice experience. And I mean, to me, that's, sometimes when I plan on doing a show somewhere, they know I'm coming, and it's almost like, they're prepared.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell you guys I was coming. I came in just because I wanted a good cigar. And after being on a 2-hour flight, the first thing I did was look up on Google, hey, where can I go? And I don't know if you ever heard of Pop Safari in Dallas or Fort Worth. Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
It's a cigar shop that I think has been around since the 60s, and it's one of my favorite shops. So the fact that you had Safari in your name, I was like, I got to go check this place out. And the cool thing about Pops is when you walk up, it's an old building, it's been there forever. It's down by TCU. But when you walk up these steps, there's a door on the left and a right, and when you go in the door on the left, it's a gun shop. and you go in this side, it's a cigar shop.
Oh, really?
And then there's a door in the middle that goes between them, and the same guy owns both.
Oh, okay.
So, and he's got, like, you have the water buffalo.
This is a
and
Cape Buffalo.
Cape buffalo,
Yeah.
okay. Well, he's got game all over the
Oh,
place
yeah.
because he's a big hunter. And so when I saw Safari, I was like, that's the place I got to go.
The reason I named it Safari was a boyhood friend of mine went to Africa, and we were in Victoria Falls, and they had an old hotel there called the Africana. Inside it, they had the Safari Lounge, and it reminded me of this place before this was even built.
Oh, nice.
And then when I took it over, I said, we'll just call it Safari Lounge, and I put some of these heads are mine, and I put those up. And
Very nice. All right. Well, hey, guys, I appreciate you having us, and
Thank
we've
you.
enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.
And thank you very much,
Thank
Jeff,
you.
Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And next, we'll be having the cigar tip of the week. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, brother.
What's
How
going
are ya?
on, man?
Doing good, man. How are you? It's Friday night.
Yeah, well, it got a little chilly here in Texas, so I'm in the shed smoking a Viva La Vida.
Viva la vida. You can't go wrong with that.
No, you know I really like these.
What is it you like about those?
Man, I love the wrapper. The wrapper is just a nice, thick, smooth, oily wrapper. And, I mean, it's a good smoke. It's a medium smoke, but it just smokes so well. You know, for me, I love a good flavor on a cigar, but if you make a cigar that is just the essence of good construction, then I like that cigar.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%. You can, after smoking so much, you kind of get to know what's good and what's counterfeit, what's not good.
Yeah, and you can just tell when, excuse me, you can just tell when cigars aren't made with as much care and attention. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight, actually.
Yeah, you were telling me earlier that you're wanting to talk about, well, I'll go ahead and let you say what we're going to talk about. What's your tip of the week?
Well, as you know, I'm an ash man, and I love good ash. And so I thought we'd talk about, you know, how can you tell if a cigar actually has good ash, and what does that tell you about a cigar?
Right. Tell us about the ash on a cigar. What's the indicators of a good cigar, a bad cigar? Tell us how that works.
As well, you probably know this, but I've been learning a lot over the last couple of years about cigars, and an ash can tell you a lot about the quality of your cigar. It really kind of gives you the insight, you know, about the quality of the leaves that they're using, the workmanship of the cigar, the soil it was grown in. You know, the more I'm listening to experts out there, you know, people that are out there growing stuff, you learn a lot about just even how the soil affects a cigar.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, a good quality cigar, the ash really kind of tells you a lot of how that cigar was made.
For me, I like a nice white ash, and it needs to be, we call it at the shop, a stack of dimes, because it just burns evenly all the way down. Now, let me ask you a question that I don't know if you know the answer to. What is the purpose of the ash?
That's a great question. You know, for the longest time, I thought the longer the ash, the better. But, you know, any good quality cigar, the ash really should be about an inch before it starts to want to fall off.
Right.
And, I mean, you can baby ash for sure. You can baby, you know, the ash on a
yeah,
cigar.
and you know, I don't do any of that. You know, when it's time, it's time. I'm not trying to. I don't take pictures of an ash that's 4 inches long. I just think that's not, you know, that's not enjoying smoking a cigar for me.
Well, I like doing it every once in a while just to mix it up a little bit and take pictures, you know. But that being said, that doesn't really help at all. Really, what cigar ash does, having about an inch of ash at the foot of the cigar really kind of helps control the airflow, and it keeps it burning cooler and steadier.
Well, see,
So-
that's my answer. I have the short answer is the ash actually is insulation to the cherry on the cigar.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you want it to really soften the smoke is really what it's intended to do. Because if a cigar is burning too hot, your experience is going to be a lot more bitter. You're going to get more of a bitter taste. You're going to get more of that heat. It's not as enjoyable. And so the purpose of about an inch of ash is to keep it cool and keep that heat steady so that you can continue to smoke it and without having to relight it.
Right. So what are you smoking tonight?
Tonight I'm smoking a Alec Bradley Habano.
Oh, okay, good smoke.
Yeah, it's got a nice ash on it actually. That one's it's like a stack of dimes, and it's on the whiter. It's more of a gray. Earlier I had a All Out Kings. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I've heard of it, but I haven't had one yet.
Yeah, it's a new cigar. I got it today in the mail, so I had to try it out. But man, that's what really kind of tweaked my interest in talking about this is when you have a really nice, well-made cigar and you got that nice white ash and it's got a cone shape when it falls off, that's telling you that the leaves that they're using is a long filler, number one. If companies are using like ripped up tobacco or small tobacco pieces in the filler, you're not going to get that cone shape when the ash falls off.
Right.
And you're gonna have to relight that thing over and over again and fight with it. Not all the time, but it just depends on the quality of the tobacco they're using. And so long filler tobacco is definitely better, and it really is going to create that denser heat in the core, so that that ash should fall off the edges.
Yeah, and have you noticed on a good quality cigar, I mean, you can smoke it down to where like maybe there's a half inch to a 3/4 inch left, and it's not hot, versus a cheap cigar, it starts getting really hot probably about 1.5 inches.
Well, that's a good point. A cheap cigar or cigar that's not really rolled properly, it should be rolled tight. A cigar should be like just really nice and tightly rolled, shouldn't be loose. And so what that does, the quality of the wrapper has a lot to do with it, but the binder as well as that filler. And what you're going to notice on a cheap cigar is that the ash keeps on falling off, and it's going to be more of a tunnel versus a cone.
Right.
And so, that ashless cigar is going to burn hotter and it's going to taste more bitter.
Yeah, and a big part of that's because it's burning down the middle instead of burning all the way around.
Absolutely. And it's not as enjoyable. The taste, really after a while, taste is everything. And you're looking for that taste in your cigars to get all the different flavors through that whole, from the beginning to the end. Because a lot of times it changes flavors on you.
Right. Hey, so you know what? I'm going to change gears here for a second, and I got to tell you something that's kind of funny, but it wasn't funny as I thought it was funny, okay? And I'll tell everybody on Instagram, CigarManOfficial invited me. I'll edit that out. So CigarManOfficial invited me to do a video on Instagram, and we were going to talk about the show. And what was funny is, because it was live, I was the first one to join, and I said, "What's up, loser?" And I thought that was funny because me and him were the only ones that could see that. And then I saw when you posted it on your page, I was like, well, that looks horrible, because now everybody can see it. So
Right.
I owe you an apology. Sorry about that, brother.
No problem, man. I think everybody knows we have a bromance going on after that video, though. So
Yeah, well, I thought it was funny whenever I did it, and it was just between me and you. But then when you posted the video, like for the first 2 minutes, it just says, "Hey, loser."
I was trying to delete it. I couldn't figure out how to delete it.
Right? I was like, man,
Right.
it just sat there because there was, it takes a few minutes for other people to see you're going live.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, you drinking anything with your cigar tonight?
Yeah, actually, I'm having some bourbon, some Stillhouse bourbon. This is new for me. It's called a black bourbon, and it's made by Stillhouse, and it's in a kind of a flask-looking container versus a bottle.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it's a black flask with a silver top, silver edges.
So is it made out of metal or is it made out of glass?
It's like aluminum, it's like a metal. It's
Oh,
a metal.
really?
And, yeah, and so it's the first one I've ever seen like that, and I thought, man, I'm going to try that. And dude, it is some of the best bourbon I've had,
And it's
especially
called
with cigars.
Stillhouse.
Stillhouse, yeah. Stillhouse makes whiskey, and they make a bourbon.
Well, I'll have to check that out. It looks, how big is the bottle, or should I say flask?
Yeah, it's bigger than a normal flask. It's I think it's 500 milliliters. So it's not the typical 750 size. So it's a little bit smaller. It's about I'd say 8 inches tall and 2 inches wide, or 1.5 inches wide.
Does it come in the pint?
I can't see because it's dark out here, but yeah, it looks like it is a pint. But yeah, basically, you got to check it out. Stillhouse black bourbon.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that one out. I don't just try bourbons on my own. I always get references from someone else, so I will definitely put that on my list.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I'm a bourbon guy, and I'm trying a bunch of different bourbons, and I'm not an expert. I just enjoy bourbon, so I'm not like a connoisseur of bourbon, but I like trying a lot of different bourbons whenever I'm at a cigar lounge or something like that. I'll do a tasting, a flight, usually to try different stuff, more expensive stuff. But yeah, this stuff's good. It's about in California, it's about $30 for that container. Which
so in
seems
Texas, it'd probably be like $5.
Don't make me move there, man. Come on. Oh my gosh. Yeah, California, it's like bend over. But yeah, no, it's great bourbon. It smokes, and it goes well with cigars.
Well,
so.
I may have to go find me one of those tomorrow. I'll call around and see if I can find it locally. And do you know where they're out of?
Obviously, they have to make bourbon in Kentucky. So all I know is they do have whiskey, but this is called the black bourbon, and it's in a black flask, and the flask itself is worth keeping.
Is it dark in color?
Yes, it is. It's a dark bourbon. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I drink Buffalo Trace, which everybody knows I'm always talking about Buffalo Trace. How does it compare to that? Is it a stronger flavor? I mean, being darker, Buffalo Trace I consider to be pretty light.
Yeah, it is. I really enjoy Buffalo Trace. I keep on. That's my main bourbon with cigars, but I drift. I keep on trying different ones, and I keep on coming back to that one. I would put this as it's got more of a caramelly taste to it, a little sweeter. I don't want to say it's sweet, but it just has more of I want to see caramel hints of caramel to it.
Cool,
it's
man.
really nice.
Well, I'll definitely see what I can find. See if I can try that on the next cigar I smoke whenever I'm on the show.
So what's coming up on the next show after today's show?
Okay, so I did an interview with Brad from Good Karma in Lubbock. He went to Honduras on a tobacco farm tour with Julio, and I'm going to scratch that out. He went down to Honduras to do a tobacco farm tour, and they showed him how it starts from a seedling, from basically like a pot, and they actually once it starts growing, they cut the top off, which makes the roots grow thicker and deeper and denser. And then once it sprouts new leaves, they transplant that from the pot to the fields. Anyway, he gave us a lot of insight about the whole trip, told us how he flew down there, how they took care of him, and the tour and the overall process. So it was a really good interview. I look forward to sharing that with everyone.
Well, we're going to have to do that one day, man. We're going to have to hit Central America, and I'll be your translator.
Absolutely. In fact, Perdomo does a tour like that, and I would really love to go down there. And a friend of mine went on the Perdomo tour, and he said it was fantastic. They were great hosts, but just the amount of attention that family gives, it's just not just the workers, it's the whole family's involved in one aspect or the other.
Well, that's the whole thing about it's not just learning about cigars and the details. It's the whole family experience. You see that this is generational. You see that these people work the land. They understand everything from the soil to the technology.
Yeah, and he was telling us about the owner of the farm that he went to. His name was Julio, and he had worked for the Oliva farm. But anyway, when I asked him how old he was 81 years old. I mean, that's the kind of tradition that is in the cigar industry at the farms and the factories. These guys have decades and decades of experience and passion. And you'll have to listen to the show because I don't want to give away all what we talked about, but it was very interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing that, brother. I mean, I appreciate now every time I smoke, after you hear those kinds of stories, what goes into every cigar.
Yeah, that was what we were talking about on the show. I'm going to keep giving some stuff away, but we were talking about how, once you know what goes into making a cigar, that price tag doesn't seem that expensive because you have a lot of people hands-on doing or bringing the cigar to market. I mean, from the seed selection, planting the seedlings, replanting those in the field. I mean, it's just really, it's a process that, there are no other companies in any other industry that do what we do, or not say we do, but you know what I mean.
Right. No, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it, bro. You always do a great show. Can't wait for each show each week. I almost want you to do it more than once a week.
Well, hopefully someday we'll get there. I mean, I would like to get to where we have like an hour show instead of an hour and a half or 2 hours. I would really like to get to where we do like a 45-minute to an hour show every day. But, we'll see how that develops as time goes on. If the people want it, then that's what we'll do. But, that's just their decision, not mine.
Well, I noticed, I was checking out iTunes today, and you're number one for cigar and cigars.
Yeah, somebody else had told me that. They said on iTunes, when they did a search for cigar and for cigars, we came up number one in the search. So, that just tells you that, we're getting a lot of support from the people, BOTLs, SOTLs. And so I'm very thankful. And, it's really what they're doing, not what I'm doing. So I'm much appreciated for sure.
You're a brother of the leaf, and I think we all appreciate you, man. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Well, hey, thanks for sharing our cigar tip of the week, and we look forward to next week.
Sounds great, man. Have a great week.
You too, brother. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the show. We appreciate Cigar Man Official's time and his tips. And now let's get to the cigar of the week. While I was up in Omaha, Nebraska, I picked up a few extra. They had the LFD Cabinet 6, which is my favorite cigar. It's medium to full, probably way more on the full side. It's great construction, great burn. It has the most beautiful wrapper of any cigar I've ever seen. If you haven't tried it, you got to find one and let me know what you think. Anyway, this week's Cigar Talk Trivia, the winner will get 2 Cabinet 6s from LFD. And this week's question is, if you go back to episode Bohemian Rhapsody Cigar Queen, if you can tell me the owner of the Cigar Cave, the owner's name is Emmy Lee. If you can tell me what country she's from and be the first one to email me that information, you'll be the winner of 2 Cabinet 6 LFD cigars. I know I would love to smoke them both, but I've already smoked several that I brought back, so I'm going to pass them on to you guys. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you stopping by for the show. Hope you have a great week. Until next time, stay smoking, my friend.